Rex Butterworth is a farmer in Waikato who's dealing with all the common challenges of dairying in New Zealand today. But he believes he's found a system that's doing very good business for him and his herd. Rex has been working with agribusiness consultant Alison Dewes.
It's really important for any farmer to find out where they're at before they take a step forward into any sort of different farm system. So what we started with Rex was really understanding how his farm had been performing in the previous couple of years. So you need to get a baseline, and then from there you start extrapolating forward and look at a range of different systems, of which the situation was going to require quite a bit of investment and what it was going to do to the risk profile of the business. A key part of this is to understand what the farmer's values are. So in this situation, what did Rex really want to do? And he wanted improved efficiency, lower risk and more profit, and certainly a bang for the buck. But also a key here is long term, is it going to be low risk and is it going to keep his farm system ahead of the game? Right across New Zealand, there's probably 50% of New Zealand has got some nutrient rules in place. Waikato's due to announce their rules next year. In Rex's situation, I think with nitrogen leaching, for example, was sitting at about the industry average at about 40 kilos of N per hectare. With the implementation of this system and better management out on the farm, it's down to half now, so leaching about 20 kilos of nitrogen per hectare. And so whatever happens with the rules in terms of phosphorus management, nitrogen management, sediment and pathogens, this farm system's really well placed for the future. We've got 4.3 cows to the hectare on this farm, but in reality, nitrogen leaching's linked to urine patch out in the paddock. So if we've got these cows in a situation where we can capture the effluent and then use that at the optimal times a year, then we can overcome that problem. So high stocking rate, we've got really high performance. These cows are sitting at about 93% of their body weight as milk solids, which is excellent. I mean, the rest of the industry is sitting at high 70s to 80. A whole lot of things coming together with good management really help this business to be very efficient. There's going to be two ways to go. Farmers will either have the choice of sort of winding back their systems to be lower impact or grabbing all the efficiencies with excellent management, such as these sort of farm systems, and capitalising on that. So in this situation, we've got really high levels of efficiency, so almost double the production per hectare with half the leaching, so that's such a great story. And in this situation, we've got about 95 kilos of milk solids per kilo of nitrogen leached, which is a hugely efficient, productive system with a low impact. Now, if we look at the average across New Zealand, it's sitting at about 20 kilos of milk solids per kilo of N leached. So this is 4 times as efficient as what we see in, say, irrigated Canterbury.
So I've got the
data sheet,
the data sheet, and I've only started just pulling it in.
Yeah, no, there's so...
After I'd looked at all of the different options, the herd home pretty much covered all the bases, and so we built one to see how it would go. You know, the quite significant investment, and we weren't sure whether we could justify having 2 or whether we could make do with 1. But after a short period of having the first one up and running, we realised to get the true benefits we needed both. We can't control the weather, but now we do have a lot of control over the effects of the weather. We had a fairly low cost of production before the herd homes, but the amount of income varied a lot with climatic changes, and that made it really hard to budget. Plus the cows would suffer because you know, we couldn't look after them as well as we should. So it's taken a lot of the risk out of the business, and we're probably, bar having irrigation, we're probably as in control as we could be. The use of the home, it varies from winter to summer. The calving cows come in here during bad nights. We've got the lights, so it's easy enough to check them. Then during the summer, they're in here whenever it's like from about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. They come in when it gets a little bit too hot and they've stopped eating and drinking in the paddocks. They come in here and enjoy the shade, eat and drink all day, and go back out after the evening milking when it's cooler. During the winter, we can bring them in here. They're warm, so basically anything they're eating is going towards weight gain or maintaining their condition score already. If there's any sign of any pugging, we take them off before that's likely to happen. There's no point in taking them off once it's happened, so we preempt it, and if we know that it's going to rain in half an hour's time, we pull them off. So basically, if we end up with pugging, we haven't done our job properly. So the farm's fairly basic. Our inputs are grass silage made on the runoff, maize grown on the runoff, and PKE, that's in there only to fill the gaps. We try not to rely too heavily on it, although in the last 2 years we've had to because of the severe droughts. Every year we grow more maize, every year we seem to need more feed, so we're still chasing the 8 ball a little bit, but there's no other feed going in other than that. The biggest challenge that we found with it is pasture management. We were pretty good with it beforehand, but now that the cows have become better fed and less tolerant of the weather conditions, we've got to be very, very careful that we don't waste grass, and so making sure pasture utilisation is as good as it can be is the thing that we struggled with more than anything. The payout being as low as it is, it's certainly hurting us, there's no doubt about that. If we didn't have the herd homes, we'd be in a far worse position than we are. We've been able to control our costs because of our new system, and we are one of the few farms that are still profitable in a payout like this, but we're not making very much money. We've got our heads above water, but at least we're not going backwards.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.